Okay. When doing the second scan in the bars, which is where you're going from the hole to this long edge, you set it on here. You want to have the platform probably about 3/4 or so of the way to the right, maybe a little forward, so that most of the bar is on the platter. You have to kind of eyeball whether it's going to be into the needle when the tower comes down, but if it's not, you can just raise the tower, move it back or forward over, and then lower it again. What you're hoping to do is get it to, land right about where you want it. If you aren't good at guessing it, it's better to bring the tower down over here, adjust the knobs so the needle's then over there, so you have to do it repeatedly, but whatever gets the needle onto this spot. Now we lower the tower here. And while it's lowering, you can adjust a little bit, but once the needle gets about halfway down, don't bother touching any of this, because you'll probably damage the needle if you mess around too long. I think I missed it. It's really hard to tell from this perspective when it's dropping. I think I just caught the edge. Oh, look, the camera is the other way to easily tell. It's in this black gulf of emptiness where I was about to miss it. Okay. Slightly adjust to get it nice and straight here. On the camera over there, what we're looking for is the hole right there. When you're scanning the light, you'll find pretty easily about where the outer edge is right there, where the two halves come together to form the hole. And you don't have to be precise, but right about there, anywhere in this little region, and then you're going to bring it so that the edge of that hole is just off camera. And then you readjust by dropping the tower one more time to make sure it's zeroed. And you'll see that when you run the scan program, the needle will collect just at the edge of the hole, and when scanning, will hit just the opposite edge of the bar. This is actually the only measurement on any of the 4 scans that needs to be this precise is where you place it, because the rest of them have plenty of space, but this one is going right edge to edge.
You press the tower down button once, and then you adjusted it for the hole, and then did it again. Okay.
Truth be told, I don't think it's necessary to hit a second time, because once it re-zeros itself as it starts scanning. But not knowing that for sure, because my hasn't told me anything about that, I went ahead and did tower down just to be sure.
Right.
Because it doesn't hurt it.
Okay.
Alright. And then always make sure you hit 0 level. You want to do both the regular save as for data file and the export button. We've got the naming convention saved elsewhere, so it's not a big deal at the moment.
Okay.
For the other scans, for scan 3, which is also parallel to the narrow edges, the easiest thing to do is to watch the little camera over here, so that when you're moving along to the scan area here, on the bar it's to the right of the hole on the screen. It always looks like it's above it, just because of the way the camera's oriented. And it's the same kind of thing. You want to look for the point where the circle kind of peaks and then starts coming down again. You want to get that right about on the left side of the screen, so right about there. And about somewhere around that much circle on the bottom of the screen. As long as the hole does not take up more than about, say, 1/4 to half of the screen, you're fine. About right there, you'll make sure the needle doesn't hit the hole. And then once again, you drop the tower just to be sure. Run it, and with this it'll actually get pretty close to the hole, but it should not fall in. And because how thick the needle is, it can be really hard to tell by eyeballing it. It'll look like it's going to go in the hole, and you realize that, well, the tip won't, even if the actual thickness of the needle comes over the side.
Right.
But the other thing is that the camera is angled. It's not just perpendicular where you're going to place the bar, especially because you're never going to have the bar perfectly perpendicular to it. So on the camera, always assume that the needle is going to go down and slightly to the or to the left and slightly down.
Okay.
For the angle you're looking at. Makes a legion eyeball. Okay. When you're switching to scans 1 and 4, since they go parallel to the long edge, you always raise the tower, because you are very likely to bump the bar when moving everything around, and you do not want to bump it up and break the stylus. That would be... Hamed would kill you. And once it's up, you just move the platter back to the center, and then move it toward you. Not all the way. If you get to the end, it likes to kind of lean like this.
Okay.
So, like that. This platter can turn, but there's no real reason to. I mean, turn a little bit so that these little grooves aren't under the bar, because otherwise the bar kind of leans. Otherwise, just get nice and even. As long as about half of it is on the platter, it shouldn't like bend or mess around. And it's the same thing for landing the needle on the area you're trying to scan as with scan 2. You've got a small area you're trying to put it on. If you really need to, you can move the entire thing forward, and drop it here, and then move it back. If you get used to it and you can eyeball it, then you just drop it straight down. And even though we've named the scans a certain order, it doesn't matter what order you do them in.
Yeah.
I always do them in pairs, whichever direction I'm currently going, you know, which part are parallel to. So 1 and 4, and then 2 and 3 are back and forth. And this is going to be scan 4. It's just like scan 3, because you're going along the hole rather than away from it. It's about the same on placement, except the hole will be on top of the screen at the bottom this time. So what we do is here, you can put back there. You adjust the platter with the little turning knobs here. You want to find wherever the hole is. And once again, you follow it down till that peak. Put it whether right on or just off the edge of the screen. That right there. Zero it. And then when the needle pops up, you just run this again.
You don't have to do tower down again?
I did already.
Oh, you did? Never mind.
This one in scan 3 are really easy to not have to worry about like falling off an edge or anything, because as long as you're aware where the hole is and place it just right, you're not gonna have any issues with falling off the side.
But how far is that from the hole? Do you know?
It's like 2 millimeters maybe. It's a very short distance.
You just do it based off of the...
I do it based on where it's on the camera.
Yeah.
Just because it's easy to try to measure, because you're not gonna put a ruler in here.
Yeah.
When you're doing scan number 1, let me change. You want to go to the camera on this one. It's just like with scan 2. You put the hole on the right side of the screen, and you find wherever the center of the hole is approximately. Put it just off the screen. This one you can go a little farther if you want to, because there's a lot more width between the hole and the edge. It's only scan 2 that's got that really precise requirement.
Yeah.
But right there. And then you re-zero by dropping the tower. And then scan. And including saving and exporting, scan of a whole bar with a little bit of practice takes about 5 to 7 minutes.
So that's per bar. So 16 bars, that's...
So you can do about...
hour and a half.
Yeah, you can... That it usually takes me about 2.5 hours, just because those last half pairs, the last half of the bar pairs, you'll start slowing down because it's monotonous as hell.
Yeah.
But, for example, we've done 10 minutes right here, so I'm explaining everything. But 5 to 10 minutes, the first few times you do it, probably take about 15 because you got to place everything. But once you've loaded it all up, it's pretty easy. All right. And the last thing you do once you've saved all your data and you finish your bar is you raise your tower. You wait till it's all the way back up. And then you very carefully pull your bar off. Very gently pick it up. Away. If, when you're done, it's sitting like this because it scans 2 and 3 last, you can just pick it up from the sides and gently pull it out. This one you can pull it carefully, don't bump the stylus. With the aluminum bars, it's really easy because they're really light. With the copper bars, you have to be very careful because they're so heavy, you half the time overcompensate. You gotta be careful not to bump up and break it. So you do the scans. If you're doing more bars, you just leave the platter already set. Just put the next bar in the same position. Makes it really fast. Otherwise, if you're completely done, if you watch the side edge here, you'll see where the platter lines up. And then down here, you can see where it also lines up. Just put it back in set position. You want to mess with the fine-tuning knobs once you've moved the platter using these little hinges here. Because if you're not precise in putting them back, they might need to be messed with the click in properly. But and then once it's back, you just close the program and hit the off button. There really aren't any other tricks to this other than that. As long as you've got the scan routine set and you've set the camera properly, it's real fast and easy.
Awesome.